after years of grandstanding and making those aggressive statements, Israel has finally done what they had always threatened to do. And Iran had always maintained that they will respond with whatever force and whatever means they have available. So we'll have to see how they respond and to what extent they respond, because if that happens, I'm afraid, like the Ukraine-Russia war, it will not remain within the confines of Iranian and Israeli borders. It will, of course, United States will come to the aid of Israel, and Iran will have its own allies in the global south.
So as I see, Saudi and Iran was bringing themselves back into that pivotal position as it was at one time. I agree with Awais that whatever Israel is doing, the Palestinian genocide is not, I mean, they're not taking it all on their own shoulder. The US is behind it, and UN General Assembly, all the resolutions that we have seen or the solutions that the world is trying to come up for Palestine has been vetoed by US. So that's on one side.
Audience, welcome to New Wave Global. I always say Naya Daur. I have my guests, which you saw last week in Urdu show, Mr. Dr. Awais Saleem, and our own Naya Daur, Fauzia Yazdani Sahiba. Let me, with your permission, Fauzia, let me start with Dr. Awais Saleem. There is a problem going on in the world. Israel has attacked on Iranian embassy, and now Iran has to retaliate, which will escalate the troubles globally, which will affect the oil prices. Oil prices go up. Pakistan's economy, which is heavily dependent on the prices they set for a year or so of oil prices, it will go up more than they want. How Pakistan government is gonna deal this scenario?
Thank you, Dr. Misbah. Well, you see, the global financial crisis because of oil prices is not new. It has been going on since the Ukraine war started, and everybody thought that it might be a stop-start kind of thing, and it will go away maybe within a couple of months, but we are sitting at something like a couple of years now, and it has not stopped yet. And in fact, it is escalating. And now, as you can see, the Israel-Iran issue is escalating. We were thinking that maybe the ceasefire in Gaza will lead to some stability, but all these things are interconnected. It seems that nobody is thinking about scaling back, but the focus is on escalation using whatever means they have available. Now, we will, as you saw some time ago when there were reports of an Iranian attack inside the Pakistani territory, we had seen very mature statements from the Iranian leadership that we don't want to escalate after Pakistan had responded, and the matter eventually kind of fizzled out. Now we'll have to see, because after years of grandstanding and making those aggressive statements, Israel has finally done what they had always threatened to do. And Iran had always maintained that they will respond with whatever force and whatever means they have available. So we'll have to see how they respond and to what extent they respond, because if that happens, I'm afraid, like the Ukraine-Russia war, it will not remain within the confines of Iranian and Israeli borders. It will, of course, United States will come to the aid of Israel, and Iran will have its own allies in the global south. So it threatens to become, I would hate to say World War III, but something close to that. Now, If that happens, not just Pakistan, but the entire world will be affected. Here, sitting in US, oil prices have been rising throughout the past month or so, almost 25% increase so far. That affects the groceries and all supply chain that you can think of. Pakistan is a very small fish in the global supply system, but Pakistan is, of course, affected by this surge in prices and disruption in oil supply because Pakistan is already battling a financial depression. Other countries like United States, etc., have means to overcome that or at least give some sort of subsidy to their people. Pakistani government does not have that luxury yet. So if it escalates, going back to the premise of your question, I don't see Pakistan in a uh, I would say in a rosy situation. Something that they were thinking that after election they might be able to overcome some of those financial challenges. I only see them aggravating.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I do agree with Awais what he says that world situation is going to be affected with the oil prices. But unfortunately, as he said in the end, that Pakistan inside is already facing a lot of troubles, a lot of problems, economic problems. And for Pakistan, because see, one Pakistani, when I talk to people over there, they don't care what is the oil prices in US or in India or in Bangladesh. They don't care. They say, I cannot pay my bills. I mean, I have some people whom I am in touch all the time, and they just have one motorcycle to go to work and coming home. So they say that for us it is getting more and more difficult, and they don't have solution for that. They say if things get towards worsening, I don't know what to do. So it's very sad when I talk to them. I mean, financially I can help them, but for a very short time. But long run, they want to survive and they don't want to get help. There is some sort of self, this thing that they don't want to take money from friends and families and other people. So how you say that?
See, Doctor, there are two sides of, or there are two angles with which I would like to address this. Number one is regional geopolitical situation. Pakistan, by virtue of geographic location, has always, uh, you know, capitalized and profited out of its positioning, because as the world was resettling, realigning, we saw that we had opportunities to have stronger allies that could help our economy out. We have seen that. Post Afghanistan pullout and Ukrainian war, and then COVID into it. Things were into another, tornado swing also. It was moving. And then we saw that come back again here into the Middle East and North Africa. Saudi Arabia started realigning itself. So, be it Saudi American relationships, Saudi Iranian relationships, Saudi Israel relationship, India relationship. So, all these relationships were realigning. So as I see, Saudi and Iran was bringing themselves back into that pivotal position as it was at one time. I agree with us that whatever Israel is doing, the Palestinian genocide is not, I mean, they're not taking it all on their own shoulder. The US is behind it, and UN General Assembly, all the resolutions that we have seen or the solutions that the world is trying to come up for Palestine has been vetoed by US. So that's on one side. But when it comes to Pakistan, you see, gradually Pakistan, the economy has been going down. We have seen in in times when army was, or a General Musharraf, let's say last one, when General Musharraf was in power or martial laws were in power, we used to have bubble economies. So what we used to see was a bubble economy of 8-10 years, where everything, we had lots of money, people were comfortable, collapsed. 2 years, 2 years, or 2-3 years, civilian rules, where economy would be compressed, and they would say, see, they are corrupt. That's why we come back again. The martial law comes in, army is in power, we again go back to bubble economy and in cash ourselves whatever we are doing in the region. That's no more. At least since 28 onward, it's no more. So where we have lacked is that we've not undertaken any
Mm.
structural economic reform. We have capitalized on resilience of people to manage themselves, but we have not helped them. You see, you, me, or Wes, or anyone, we can help few people, but we are not state.
That's
And this
true.
cannot be. The other is that subsidies. All political governments have been riding high on subsidies, not for now. It's been when I was in government back in early 90s. It was even then, and I would tell you that in around 97, I was in one of the IMF meetings. I was a very young bureaucrat that had joined, and Sartaj Aziz was our finance minister. And at that time, the World Bank mission told them that you have to take away the flour subsidy. And he said, Sirajji said, I still remember, God bless his soul, that no, we cannot do that. We're a political government, the government would collapse. And they said, if you don't do it now, 20 years
Mm.
down the road, you will start feeling the pinch. We are feeling the pinch. So we are not feeling the pinch only for the fuel prices. We are feeling the pinch for wheat. Climate is playing havoc on this. So it's not a linear thing that fuel prices are increasing because of the Iran-Israel or Palestinian thing, and that would have impact. We have COVID impact. We have Ukrainian wars impact because of the wheat. So we have lots of these things, and then our internal economic house is melting down. We are drowning under the weight of subsidies. So it's not that simple for us.
Mm. Fauzia, my second question, it's kind of related to this topic. This is my last question for today's show, and then I will have Dr. Saleem's comment also on that in the end. See, recently, just a day before, a couple of days ago, there was a quote unquote secret meeting of the SIFC, if I remember correct, if I know correctly. They did not tell it to the media that they are meeting, and that could be the reason that maybe they don't want to politicize. And now the news coming from there, what I talk to some people, they say that they talked about how to deal with certain issues and potential hikes of oil prices and everything they discussed. And now Prime Minister, he is in Saudi Arabia trip. What do you think? How much that thing can be affected? And please also share if you have any information of any such meeting like that.
Okay. I do not have any information if there was a secret meeting of SIFC or not, but let me put it on table. SIFC is solely to bring CPAC back on the track. It is to solidify, satisfy, and tell our Chinese friend that you've been helping us, and we are still part of it. We hold the partnership with you when it comes to One Belt One Road, and China Pakistan economic corridor of importance, and we will deliver. That is one. What the importance of SIFC, as you structured the question, it appears overblown, but overblown, it's blown beyond proportion, I would say. That is one aspect of it. How do they want, how our political and stakeholders, again I'm using the word stakeholders, not the leaders, how do they want to address the economic issues and the administrative issues that we have in hand? They are not SIFC's business. Sorry, they
Mm.
are more Council of Common Interest business. They are more on. They are to be discussed on the floor of the House. they are to be discussed in the Senate, which remains incomplete. So I think no, SIFC gets more attention because the representatives of the three armed forces are on that table. Should Prime Minister, if Prime Minister is giving a lot of importance, that is to satisfy China and make them understand that no, we are your partner. But where government, I think, is still unclear and not giving very loud and clear function that do we want to be partners only with China when it comes to economy and otherwise? Why should Pakistan pick one partner? It has to have many partners to satisfy its own interest, to have its own space to deliver best for its own people. But unfortunately, we're still unclear. Our power wielders are unclear. Who do we want to bed with primarily? And we're jumping beds, I would say.
Dr. Saleem.
Well, the financial condition of the country is such that no one government, no one prime minister, and neither any institution alone can pull it off. It requires a consensus decision. It requires a long-term strategy. Manmohan Singh gave a financial vision to India in early 90s, and whatever government has come in, whether that is Congress or BJP or a coalition government, they have not fiddled with it. And they are now reaping the rewards. The problem in our country is that we always sell pipe dreams to the nation. Whosoever comes in the government or in any other powerful position starts to reinvent the wheel. They don't want to take it forward. For example, in the PTI government, every minister and even Prime Minister Imran Khan at the time was telling us that our focus is on increasing exports and see how we have increased exports so far and our industry is performing at optimum level. So I used to ask them that if the previous government of PMLN had not done these power projects and had not completed the deficiency, how would you have ensured that your industries are running at this optimum level? So that's the basic problem. Now, if the basic problem of CPEC was that we don't have the capacity to deliver what the Chinese want, or other reasons that probably cannot be mentioned here, political stability being one of them, how one institution that thereby meaning SIFC can be trusted to pull everything off. Then why are you like Fauzia said very rightly so? How are you going to put all your eggs in one basket and you think that China will be will be giving you the bailout package that you want to come out of such grave financial situation? What about trade with India? The problem is that every 3 or 4 years we hear a new story about that. A new army chief comes in and says that we want trade. Then another comes in and says that we don't want trade. They are potentially your nearest partners that you can rely on. And it is mutually beneficial, make no mistake about that. Then what about United States? United States to this day is your biggest partner in the West. They are your biggest trade partner. They are you use their influence in EU, in IMF, other financial institutions. They are your biggest defense partner. So why can't we forge a policy where we take all our partners along and watch our own interest? But for that, you have to do two things. One, you have to stop jeopardizing your foreign relations for domestic political consumption. Two, you have to do reforms inside the country that are aimed at long-term strategic thinking and long-term on-ground development, and stop thinking about quick fixes that you can pull off in 2, 3, 4 years before your government's term runs out. Within 5 years, nothing is going to happen, and we'll come back to that catch-22 situation once the new government comes in.
Mhm. So just in 30 seconds, since you mentioned about India, there are a lot of critics, and they say that once there will be a trade with India, India will be the beneficiary, and that will destroy all our local industries. How you address this question in 30 seconds? Then I'll go to Fauzia for the comment.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
let's have Dr. Saab's comment, and then I'll come to you. Dr.
well,
Saab.
the volume of the trade is based on the consumers. Of course, India has more consumers, but that also means that if we get that market, our industry will flourish, will not just become a service industry, a service-based economy. Why United States and everybody else is looking at India so favorably? Because they see a huge market potential for their products. We will get that. Similarly, if something comes from India on our side, they will benefit as well. I remember some time ago, I had a friend who has a very big pharmaceutical plant in India. They wanted to do business in Pakistan because their manufacturers say that our goods are used in Pakistan, but they are smuggled into Pakistan. So why can't we legalize that? So I've read studies on this. There is mutual benefit. Naysayers will say anything. If doing trade with other countries has benefited our industry, so be it. But where is our industry now? So if we have an opportunity next door, why not explore it?
Great. Fauzia.
I would say the demand and supply is, it's a volume based. It's economies of scale. So if it has the potential to benefit both sides, because you create demand and you plug in with the supply gap. So I think both sides has the potential and opportunities to flourish, and it should be used. And again, I agree with the West when he says that naysayers would find something to say, but let's not forget, if China and bilaterally between China and India, they have a huge economic transitions going on. And on the other hand, they have a security situation as well on the border. They see eye to eye, but still continue. You have border skirmishes between India and China, and yet Chinese president visit India, and the economy is insulated. So why can't we find a solution for that? And especially for the reason when there are much more in common between India and Pakistan. So it's more about political decision making, I would say, and security posturing, as one would like to say it, both for Pakistan, which I said every 3 years we change on that, and on the other side now, post election again, there will be an opportunity, and I think we should catch on any straw. It would benefit both countries.
Okay, it's viewers. You heard Dr. Saleem and Ms. Fauzia Yazdani, and the people who are the naysayers. I would just say one thing: between India and China, as Fauzia mentioned, their trade is 136 billion, with 100 billion deficit in favor of China. Why shouldn't India pull back then? I mean, with all security issue and deficit. Point I'm trying to make is that it's true that from the numbers, it does help the bigger economy, but the thing is that it increases the local competition, more industries come, and the local dealers and local merchants, local traders, they all get benefits on that. So that was all I had for us, and I'm hoping coming days we will be talking with our same guests both in Urdu shows and in English shows, and we will move further. Thank you and good day.